This is episode 8 of VerySpatialTV, Jesse's Reveal. Now, a few weeks ago in episode 7, Sue, Frank, and I spent some time swabbing the inside of our cheeks. We took this genetic material, tossed it in a little pouch, sent it off to the National Geographic Society for testing. Now, I did the paternal test, Sue and Frank did the maternal tests. I was kind of curious because I'm adopted, father is apparently from Lebanon. Kind of curious to see what my deep ancestry was beyond my local ancestry. Now, admittedly, there's not really a connection between my local ancestry or my current ancestry, and the 30,000 years ago, which is the end of deep ancestry. But still kind of a curious thing, because my ancestry, as all, starts off with our friend mitochondrial Eve, comes up through the Middle East, loops back around through India into Western Europe. This puts me in part of what is referred to as haplogroup R1b. Right down here at the bottom, you'll see it again in a second. Probably won't be able to see it on the podcast anyway, but it's there, R1b. Now, kind of makes sense whenever you get people around 30,000 years ago into the western portions of Europe, whenever you had the Ice Age, pushing glaciers back down, people kind of going south with them. So it's very easy to see how either very early on my ancestors got pushed back out of Europe, perhaps back into northern Africa, to go back along northern Africa and back into the Middle East from Lebanon, or, back across as the glaciation retreated, or even went over just a few hundred years ago as part of the Crusades. Somehow or another, my relatives from a few hundred years ago to a few thousand years ago eventually made their way back from Western Europe into the Middle East, Lebanon. Now, part of the Genographic project isn't just the map. The map tells us a lot, but while the map offers us 1,000 words, 1,000 words also offers us that as well. So, as part of your results, you get this description. And the description tells you about the particular markers in your chromosomes that define you as being part of your haplogroup. It also goes through, talks about how they did all the work, and it also gets into discussions of ancestors. Earliest ancestor, time of emergence, around 50,000 years ago. Place of origin, African. Good to know. It goes on from there. Other materials that you can get from the site that are part of your signing bonus, if you will, are your ancestral journey, that's the map, a little certificate, and your genetic history. All this can be printed out with your name on it if you want to. Again, none of this is kept. It's all private information. So names aren't attached to particular materials. You can, if you want to, help the story. Now, I had a little bit of problem with this since I don't know some of the questions that they ask. It's only 12 questions. Half of them I could answer because they were specifically about me, where I was born, when I was born, those type of questions, where I live now. Other questions about my birth parents, couldn't answer. That's okay. Hopefully the questions I did answer will help them in their survey anyway. Now, beyond this, there's also a series of tests that can be run that go beyond the ones that are specifically for the Genographic project. That's down here under what else can I do with my results. Now, Sue's going to talk a little bit more about this later on as she describes her results. She's already put in for these. She got a few of the results immediately, and there are others that you can have done, which I'm not sure if she's going to or not, but you can have done at a discounted rate compared to what you would do if you had to have it done all the way from the beginning through. Since, of course, they already have the genetic material, they've already run the tests, it's pretty easy to run the rest of the tests since they do keep materials on hand for 25 years. Oops. So, that is my journey through my deep ancestry. Kind of interesting. Definitely feel like I did something good for science. We think that the process is pretty good, and where the money does end up is pretty good. Now keep tuned in the next few weeks as Sue and Frank both go through theirs, and do keep listening to a Very Spatial podcast where we hope to soon be talking to someone from the Genographic project. If you get a chance and have a little extra cash, or a lot of extra cash sitting around, head over to nationalgeographic.com/genographic, and if you're just curious about the project, head over to the website as well. Thanks for watching episode 8, and stick around in the next couple of weeks for our next episode. That's right, episode 9.